All right, guys, welcome to my second live stream event. This one is going to be pertaining to like the gig economy jobs. And I think a lot of people, especially throughout the pandemic, they really realize the value that the gig economy provides, because you had so many people who were too scared to go to the store, restaurants were closed, takeout only, and it really kind of allowed these apps to shine and to thrive. So yeah, go ahead and hop in, guys. Let me know, if you guys have any questions, any comments. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just getting the very last stuff set up here. I am still streaming from my phone because I haven't been able to get my camera set up correctly. So I've got my phone here, and then I'm watching you guys in the background so that I can see your comments and whatnot, because unless I flip my phone 90 degrees, I'm not going to be able to see your guys' comments and whatnot. So just kind of, hop in. Let's chit chat, talk about the gig economy and, a lot of the different apps, Doordash, Uber Eats, Postmates, Shipped, Instacart. And we'll have a good time. All right, let's see here. Also, if you are on the chat, let me know that you can hear me, please. Just so I'm not sitting here talking and everybody's like, I see his lips moving, but I don't hear any words coming out of his mouth. Alrighty. So pretty much the purpose behind this is to show people whether you have a full-time job, regardless of what your situation is, most of these gig economy jobs, there's something you can easily sign up for. There's no out-of-pocket costs up front. There may be a little bit of a wait time, potentially 5, 7, sometimes 10 days, just kind of depending on, what part of the country you're in and how backlogged those particular areas are. For my particular area, a lot of these gig economy companies, they're based in California, which I'm in California, and we were able to get our stuff pretty quick. We didn't have any issues getting our stuff. My stuff got here in 2 to 3 days when I initially started doing these different app-based jobs. So the nice thing is, kind of like I was mentioning, whether you're full-time, whether you work full-time, whether you do this on the side, you do it on the weekends, it's nice because you have the control to make additional revenue. And some people may say it's not a lot. But for my particular area, and I mentioned this in some of my previous videos, I average about $25 an hour is kind of the low average that I get. So what's nice about that is if I want to make some additional money, if we want to go do something as a family, if we want to save for something, it's very easy to just hop on, do some deliveries for a few hours and make some additional money. You think about it, $25 an hour average for my area, you work 4 hours, that's $100. 8 hours, 200. And then on the weekends, you can really maximize your profit and the amount of money you make. I mean, just this past Valentine's Day, I made over $300, and I was online. So within the app, the active time that I actually had the app open, that I was signed in, accepting deliveries, I had it on for 10 hours. And I had DoorDash, Uber Eats, and I did one Instacart order, but Instacart works a little bit different. So with DoorDash and Uber Eats, I had those on about 10 hours, and I made $315. That was in the span of, my actual delivery time was more like 7 to 8 hours, because Valentine's Day was pretty busy, but the actual time that I was on the app was a total of 10 hours. So if you guys hop on here, just let me know if you have any questions, any comments. I'd appreciate any engagement I can get. If you guys are thinking about doing some of these app-based jobs, or let's say you're already doing some of these app-based jobs, kind of what's your experience with them? What's your market, or where's your market? And let's just kind of chit chat. So my particular market, I'm in the Sacramento area in California. Quite busy up here. Obviously not as busy as the Bay Area or San Jose or LA. Not as busy as those markets, but we stay pretty busy up here. And it doesn't really seem like, there's a little bit of a difference. Some people, and I've watched some other individuals who do like DoorDash and Uber Eats, like YouTube channels and whatnot. For them, they're working like 10 to 12 hours most days if they want to hit like 200 to 250. But for their particular market, the cost of living is a lot cheaper. So I'd probably venture to say that overall, they are actually making more because the cost of most things are a lot less than my particular area. Let's see here. I'm just going to pull up my stream on my end so I can kind of see what it looks like. Make sure I get my volume turned down so I don't sound like a dodo bird. All right, it looks pretty good. Looks like my camera's a little crooked here, or my phone's a little crooked here. Let's get this fixed. There we go. It's a little bit better. These jobs have really shown that you don't have to work a traditional 9 to 5. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned from it. And recently, California had passed, it was a proposition, it was Prop 22. And what it did was, you had a lot of people within California. California's got a lot of unions, and California does have a lot of worker protections within the state. And there were a lot of people who had wanted to be considered employees, W-2 employees, versus what they had been called, which was independent contractors. The nice thing with Prop 22 was it allowed for additional benefits, additional safeguards, and additional measures for individuals doing these app-based jobs, so that they maybe not necessarily were treated like employees, but they had the ability to as long as they delivered so many hours within their market. They had the ability to get health insurance stipends, health insurance reimbursements. I know also they've got a minimum wage requirement. So what happens, and I showed this in my last video, in the so your active time on the app is what they go off of. So when you're signed into the app, ready to accept deliveries, you have to make, according to Prop 22, it's 120% of what minimum wage is. Now, I believe currently in California, because California had passed a $15 minimum wage a couple years ago, so I believe as of January 1st of this year, last year it was $12 an hour. As of January 1st of this year, that should have been bumped up to $13 an hour. You have to make a certain amount. So like for my last video and these app-based jobs, they cannot factor your tips into this amount. So for my last video, for the entire week that I did deliveries, I had made under the minimum wage threshold that I was supposed to make, specifically for DoorDash. And what they did as a result of that is they look at your hours throughout the week and they figure out, okay, your active time was, 30 hours. And you were supposed to make $13 an hour for those 30 hours. Well, if you, over the span of those 30 hours, not including tips, did not hit that $13 an hour, what DoorDash did is they factored in the difference. So I made, $65 less than that minimum wage threshold. So DoorDash added an additional $65 and some change to the end of my weekly deposit. So once again, for some of you guys, or any of you guys outside of California, and I know there are some other states that have the minimum wage requirement, but I don't know if they've done anything in the span of, independent contractors or gig economy workers, like Florida and Washington, where they have increased the minimum wage at a state level. I don't know what they've done in terms of additional protections. So we do have a little bit of that additional benefit here in California, which is kind of nice. All right. But yeah, guys, if you have, if any of you guys watching have any questions, if you've been considering doing this, if you're nervous or worried for whatever reason about doing this, hop on, ask some questions. Let's just kind of chit chat about it. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. But yeah, so, some of the things that I truly enjoy is I get to make my own work schedule. That's probably the biggest thing that I enjoy is, with my kiddos' school schedule and whatnot, I can make my schedule around their schooling. So if I know they need to be at school at a certain time, I won't do deliveries till after I drop them off at school. If I know they need to be picked up at a certain time, I will ensure that the last delivery I do before I pick them up will give me enough time to get to their school to pick them up. So there are a lot of things that that we can do to, make additional money and to better our situation as a whole. These have definitely helped my family. And, especially during the pandemic, kind of like I mentioned earlier, is where I think they really shined was, there were so many people who didn't want to leave their homes. There were so many people who were legitimately scared because nobody knew what was going on, what was going to happen, how long this was going to last. There was a lot of uncertainty. And these types of jobs, they allowed people who were healthy, they allowed them the ability to go out to deliver. Yeah, they were making extra money, but ultimately they were helping a lot of people too. You know, a lot of older people, a lot of people who were, you know, had some type of compromised immune system. There was a lot of good that, not good that came from the pandemic, but as a result of the pandemic, there were a lot of people who truly got to see the benefits and how much this gig economy actually does really benefit society and really help society. Because, you know, a lot of the orders, like back, you know, I did Instacart a lot last year. A lot of the grocery orders, because Instacart, just like a lot of the other jobs, they were overwhelmed with people trying to place orders. And I know some people were having to sometimes wait like days, weeks, just to be able to schedule a time slot, at least in my particular area. So what happened was Instacart would be giving, you know, a lot of like double and triple batch orders to people. So that would be like, you know, you as one shopper are doing the shopping of 2 or 3 individuals. So that cut a lot of people out of being in the grocery store. So that reduced the amount of people going in grocery stores. Now here in California, where we did have a lot of strict measures, you know, they're limiting the amount of people you could have inside the grocery store and whatnot. So, you know, if one person, or let's say if a family, husband, wife, and 2 or 3 kids, they went shopping, they were counted as 4 or 5 people. You now had, you know, 4 or 5 potential individuals who had to wait in order to go shopping. So if you think about how that can multiply, if you have one person shopping for 3 families, you know, that drastically reduces the amount of people that you could be coming in contact with, that you're going to be walking past in the grocery store. It really helped things out. It really helped the communities out, especially for elderly folks who didn't want to be out in the communities because nobody knew what was going to happen. But yeah, that's kind of the crazy thing. Now also with this video, you may see, you know, I've got Disney World in the title. So for Christmas last year, my wife and I, we'd always wanted to go to Disney World. Neither of us had been. So we took our kiddos to Disney World for Christmas. That was their Christmas gift from us. We went for a total of 10 days. We were in Florida. We had a pretty nice Airbnb. And we went to the park 6 of those 10 days. So one day we traveled, you know, one day travel there, one day travel back. And then we had one day just kind of getting the stuff we needed, you know, getting food and whatnot, because we were trying to do everything we could to not spend as much money. So, you know, we ate our breakfasts at the Airbnb, and we ate our dinners at the Airbnb, and we brought snacks and stuff, and of course while we were at the park we got snacks and stuff as well, but we brought a lot of those with us. So most days we were just eating lunch at the park. So the total cost of that trip, so everything, flights, Airbnb, tickets for 6 days, rental car, gas, food, everything, Cost us about $6,500. Now, yes, that was expensive, but we wanted to do Disney World during Christmas. So when they had everything set up, and we knew Florida, Florida had not been as strict on their laws in terms of closing things down and whatnot like California had been. So, we still had to wear masks and social distancing, and they were strict about that. But still just being able to experience it, and the kids had a blast. So in essence, with how much that trip costs, we wanted to be able to put that money back so that if we want to do Disney World again this year, we could do Disney World again this year. And utilizing these gig economy jobs, you can save a substantial amount of money pretty quick. Now, if you do work full-time for a totally separate career, it'll obviously make it a little bit harder on you. But the big days to target are obviously the weekends. The weekends is where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Friday nights, Saturday nights, and then pretty much all day Sunday. So within some of the apps, you can, like Instacart specifically, if you just wanted to do grocery shopping for people, Instacart shows you, based on your region, the peak times and the peak days to do your shopping. So that's obviously really nice and really helpful, because you're able to see, okay, well, if I want to start doing deliveries with Instacart, it doesn't normally pick up in my area until around between 10 o'clock in the morning and noon. So if you get on the app at 7 a.m., depending on your market, you may not have a lot of orders available for you to choose from. But what you can do in that time is, if you do like multi-apping, you can have Instacart on to where you can see what orders are coming in for your area. But you could go do some DoorDash orders or some Uber Eats orders. A lot of people order breakfast food. One of the biggest ones, obviously, people get is coffee. Starbucks. Between like 7 and 9 or 9:30 in the morning, you get, at least in my area, a ton of Starbucks orders. You get Dunkin' Donuts orders. There's a lot of those. So you can kind of maximize your time. If you want to start early, you can start early on a separate app. Make some money on that app. Get a good start to your day. Kind of get the flow going. And then if you wanted to do Instacart, then you start checking out the Instacart orders that are coming through. Instacart, unlike DoorDash and Uber Eats and whatnot, they send you, and in Instacart, this is based on your rating, and all your metrics are played into what is available to you when they send you this. But you get to look at the orders, you can look at the items, where the store is, how far it's going, and you get to decide which orders you want to do or you want to take. Whereas like DoorDash and Uber Eats, they send you orders based on your location and your availability. And then you have to pick and choose when they send you those orders whether you want to accept them or not. The nice thing with that, obviously, is if you're driving around, you can't always be sitting there refreshing your phone on Instacart. But if you've got DoorDash on, it'll notify you when they send you an order, and they give you a particular period of time to accept the order. And then if you don't accept it, which you don't have to accept it, DoorDash, they don't have any type of, you have an acceptance rating in your metrics, but you do not have to accept orders if you don't want to. There are some people who, their acceptance rate is like 6%. There's nothing that says you have to accept orders. So you do have some people who will sit and cherry pick orders and whatnot. But for me, I accept most orders. There is one particular one that I hate doing, which is Walmart orders. Those are the absolute worst, in my opinion. They don't pay very well. And I just had this happen to me a few days ago. I actually did accept a Walmart order, and I recorded it, so I'll be posting that probably in the community page later on today. So I picked up this order. It was 3 different customers. It was a total of 4 bags. So delivered the first 3 bags, so 2 of them went to the first customer, 1 bag went to the next customer. Those had no issue with. The third one, the address that was given, the people who live there, or it was a storage unit. So I went into the leasing office, or the main office, and nobody in there nobody ordered it. Nobody within the office had ordered it. The owners hadn't ordered it. There was nobody at this location who even rented a storage unit by the name that was given to me. So after, reaching out to Doordash customer support and whatnot, the leasing office told me they couldn't accept it. So I had to take the items back to Walmart. Now, I guess I will say the one nice thing is they still paid me for completing the delivery if I completed the delivery. But then they also pay you a few extra dollars to return the items back to the store. So for this particular instance, it wasn't that bad, only because I was only about a mile away from Walmart. But had I been 10, 15, 20 minutes away from Walmart doing some of these deliveries, I would have been very, very, very annoyed. And that was the first Walmart order that I had done in a long time, and I had issues with it. So, needless to say, Walmart orders I will never do again. Unless it's paying like $50, $75, $100, I'm not doing them again. It's just not worth the headache, the additional time. A lot of times, depending on when you get the order, Walmart could take a long time getting you the order, so you're standing there waiting. It's probably just ultimately not worth it, at least for me. You guys, you may love doing Walmart orders, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just can't stand them. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking at my other computer here because I'm getting some weird error messages on my stream here. So I want to make sure that my stream's working and that I am still live, because Streamlabs is giving me some error codes here. So give me just a sec, guys. Pulled up. All right. Well, it looks like everything's good on my end, from what I can tell, at least. But yeah, guys, let me know. Let me know what questions you have. If there's anything in particular you want to know. Any experiences that you've had with, some of these app-based delivery jobs. If you've used them to save for some kind of trip or vacation you want to take, just let me know. Sorry, it's terrible. I start my day with an energy drink. Not good for you. I started doing that when I was in the Army, and I just haven't been able to stop. So be wary of that. Be wary of energy drinks. Now, in terms of my streaming, I'm just streaming off my phone. Nothing special. My phone's an iPhone 10s Max. Works pretty well. I will say, for people who want to get into doing, a lot of these deliveries and whatnot, I would definitely look at maybe getting a battery extender or portable charger, or ensure that you have the ability to charge your phone in your car. This isn't as big of a deal with like DoorDash and Uber Eats, but if you are doing like Instacart or Shipt or any of these other, I know like Uber's been rolling out their version of this called like Corner Shop. Those are gonna drain your battery quick, especially as you're doing the shopping. So make sure you have the ability to charge your phone in your car, or you're gonna be dealing with a lot of issues. I have one. It's a pretty cheap one I got off Amazon. It was like, I think $13 or $14. Definitely nothing fancy whatsoever, but it works, and it's just a case I pop my phone into. It's not a aesthetically pleasing case by any means, but it works. It does what it's supposed to do. So yeah, I mean, for any of you guys just kind of hopping on now, my particular market, if you want to, you have the ability to easily, and I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on the word easily, you could easily make $1,000 a week. And that's only if you're doing this 40 hours a week. My last week, I worked 32 hours, and I made over $900 in doing 32 hours. So if I can hit that in 32 hours, imagine 40 hours. Imagine some of the people who, let's say, are single, they don't have any family. In my area, there are people who make $1,400-$1,500 a week. Yeah, they're working themselves a lot, but the nice thing is they can do that for, a month, and then the following month they can kind of dial it back a little bit, and not have to do as many orders, and not have to run themselves like that. For me, I don't have that ability. I have kids, I have my wife. I can't be gone, 60, 70 hours a week on top of what I'm already doing. So, it just kind of depends on what your goals are. I know a lot of people, unfortunately, have racked up a lot of debt as a result of the pandemic. So you may have a lot of debt that you want to pay off. You may want to save for something. There are so many different things you can use these for. And it's very simple. And most markets, at least for like DoorDash and Uber Eats and Postmates, most of those markets have those type of delivery systems, even in very small markets. The one thing that may be a little bit more difficult to find, depending on how big or small your market is, would be, Instacart or Shipt. because in their development, they have a lot more products that they have to tie into their app. They have so much stuff that they have to tie in order for you to be able to shop at that particular store, that it takes them a lot longer to be able to develop these apps and get these apps out in every single market. Whereas if you're doing DoorDash or Uber Eats, you know, most places on their menu, they have 20, 25, maybe 30 items. That is a lot easier for them to integrate. And for a lot of the places, you know, most cities have multiple McDonald's, most cities have multiple Taco Bells, most cities. So they're able to implement and get these businesses on board much easier. So even if you don't have the ability to do Instacart or Shipt or Corner Shop, or if you live in Texas, Favor, if you don't have those as options, that's okay. This past week, you know, the 32 hours I did, all of that, I think I made like $957. All but $22 of that came from Uber Eats and DoorDash. I only had one Instacart order, which was $22 and I think 23 cents. The rest of that money I made came from DoorDash and Uber Eats. So you don't have to do the grocery shopping. I know a lot of people hate grocery shopping. I don't mind it because I have a pretty good like photographic memory. So as I go through grocery stores, I'm able to remember where things are. And a lot of your stores, I know the biggest one that has it here where I am is Safeway, where they actually tell you where the items are in the store, and you can just follow the aisles. It's very simple. For some of the other stores where you can't just follow the aisles, having a good photographic memory is very nice, because then you can remember, especially a lot of the oddball items. You know, Safeway may put this particular item with, let's say, the Hispanic foods section, but if you go to Save Mart, they may have it in a completely different location. So being able to remember those things and remember where the stuff is in the store will definitely make your lives a lot better, and will definitely make for a more pleasant experience. So you're not running around the store looking for one particular item, which is another reason that a lot of people don't want to do the grocery shopping. If you're doing like DoorDash and Uber Eats, you show up to a place, you walk inside, hey, this is who I'm picking up for. Okay, here's their food. You walk outside, you deliver it. So you are going to do more driving doing DoorDash and Uber Eats, because within the span of a day, you're going to have to do a lot more deliveries to make the amount of money you want to make as you would doing Instacart or Corner Shop or Shipt. So yeah, you know, you want to make sure that you have a decent vehicle available to you, because you're going to put a lot of miles on your vehicle. The nice thing is some of the apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats, they partner with some other companies where you can get discounts on, you know, car maintenance, preventative maintenance, get discounts on tires and brakes, you know, stuff that you're going to burn through a lot as you're putting a lot of miles on your vehicle. So those are just kind of nice things to have. They're not a requirement, but they save you a little bit of money, and they're nice to have. Another big thing I will say, and I haven't mentioned this at all yet, is taxes. So get an app that you can utilize to track your mileage. There are multiple apps out there you can use to track and categorize your mileage. I use one called Everlance, and it's really nice. You can have it running in the background all the time, and what it does is it recognizes when you get in your car and drive somewhere. So if you have your phone with you, it recognizes that you're moving at a rate faster than a human could move unless they were in a car. And it will track where you started, where you stopped, and after you're done doing these deliveries, you can go in and you can categorize what that trip was. And you can categorize it very specifically. So you can say, hey, that delivery was for DoorDash. And it'll track that with the DoorDash mileage. Hey, that delivery was for Instacart. It'll track it with the Instacart mileage. That delivery was with Uber Eats. It'll track it with the Uber Eats mileage. Definitely keep track of that, because you can reduce your taxable income by, I believe this year it's going to be like 53 or 54 cents per mile that you delivered. So let's say you, for these app-based jobs, let's just keep it simple. Let's say with these app-based jobs, you made $40,000. And let's say it was 50 cents per mile, you could reduce that taxable income. So if you drove 40,000 miles and you could reduce, or I'm sorry, say you made $40,000. Let's say your mileage you put on your car was, let's also say the mileage was 40,000. You keep track of all that mileage. When you file your taxes, that 40,000 miles and your $40,000, if you can do 50 cents per mileage as a deduction, then you're cutting that $40,000 income that you would be paying taxes on. You're cutting that down to $20,000, which is obviously going to save you a lot of money. So definitely ensure that you are using some type of app that tracks your miles. Just going to check on the stream again. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. There's a bunch of kids outside screaming. Ain't nobody want to listen to that. But yeah, guys, this is definitely something that can be utilized to make additional money, to increase your household income. And the other nice thing, for all of these, and the amount is different, but you can also cash out the same day. So they have different rates. So like Instacart charges like 50 cents. So if you want to cash out at the end of working all day, let's say you need that cash today, and you cash out, it's like a 50-cent charge. If you want to cash out with DoorDash, it's, I believe, $1.99 if you want to at the end of the day. Uber Eats, I don't remember the exact amount, but Uber Eats has the ability for you to get like one of their Uber Eats debit cards. They partner with a particular bank, and you can get like a Visa card from them, or maybe that is DoorDash. But pretty much at the end of every day, your money is transferred to that card, and you don't have to pay any fees. So I do know a lot of people like utilizing that and having that as an option available to them, because there are a lot of people of that mindset. If I worked today, I want to get paid today. I don't want to wait till the end of the week. I don't want to wait till the end of next week. Say you have some kind of bill that comes up, say you need that money, you have the ability to get access to it for, a reasonably inexpensive cost. at least in my opinion. Now, in terms of where I'm filming, so this whole setup is in my garage. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I got this nice little Harry Potter poster behind me. I'm going to be moving it around a little bit and kind of working on the placement. And then I've also got some little LED light strips that I'm going to set up. And I've still got my little shelf. I just haven't moved right now. I'm still trying to figure out exactly kind of what I would want in my backdrop to make things look a little more aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything. What your guys' experience is with some of these apps. Mine, for the most part, have all been very positive. I haven't really had many negatives come from using these apps. But also, I guess just kind of on a separate note, my channel is still growing pretty substantially, which I'm very excited about. I think I just hit 2,000 subscribers a couple days ago. I'm trying to really kind of hone in on the content I want on my page. So I know I've kind of jumped around, done a little bit of content here, done a little bit of content there. I'm really trying to figure out kind of what content makes me the most satisfied to make. So I'm going to keep playing with that. I'd wanted to do this Q&A just to kind of get a lot of this information out there. And a lot of the, frequently asked questions that some that I've gotten, but some that I know a lot of people who deliver for these, different companies that they have. But then also, if you're somebody who maybe doesn't deliver for these companies, if you're somebody who utilizes these companies for delivery, so you could kind of maybe get some insight on how things work and what they look for. And so you could also kind of understand some of the frustrations that people might have, so that if you are utilizing these services and let's say you don't have the best experience, a lot of times it may not be your driver. For instance, last night, I ordered Indian food. And my Indian food was like 25, 30 minutes late. Now, within DoorDash, I was able to see the driver was there. The driver was doing this thing. It's called communicating. He was telling me, hey, I'm here. They had this issue. They're remaking your food. Whatever. You have a lot of people, especially for whatever reason when it's food related. I understand people don't want to get cold food. Trust me, I would hate getting cold food too, unless your food is supposed to be cold. But if you have somebody delivering and they're at a restaurant and you can see in the app that they are at the restaurant, they're probably not sitting there taking a nap. There's probably a particular reason that they're still waiting at the restaurant, especially if you haven't gotten your food yet, or they haven't gotten your food yet. So for somebody who's the driver, they need to be communicating with the customer. But also, if the driver is communicating with the customer and the customer is communicating back, that is not the driver's fault if the restaurant had an issue. So don't take their tip away. Don't be malicious. Don't take it out on them. Now, if you got notified they picked your food up and then they drove 10 miles out of the way and then came and delivered your food and your food was 30 minutes late, yes, that is solely on the driver. They went out of their way for whatever reason to go do something else before they delivered your food. That's an issue. Hold them accountable there. But if they're at a restaurant and the restaurant isn't done with your food yet, that is not the delivery driver's fault. They played no part in that. The only part they played is they were supposed to pick it up. They were the transporter. They picked it up from here and they transported it to your house. And if they're sitting there waiting, they're wasting time too. They don't want to be wasting time waiting for food. But if they are waiting for your food and they're communicating with you, don't take their tip away. Don't drop their tip. If anything, if they provided you a good experience, even if your food was a little bit late, increase their tip. Because they are doing all the right things on their end. At least that's how I view it. But I drive. What's the best site to get vacation packages? Are you talking like you want to do something where you can do like an all-in-one type of package? So for me being a veteran, I utilize this service. It's called Shades of Green. And that's specifically where I purchased my tickets to Disney World. And you get a little bit of a discount from there. That only saved me a couple $100. I didn't do everything in one package. So my flights I booked independent of themselves. The Airbnb I booked separate. The Disney tickets I purchased separate. I did everything separate. Now I do know there are some sites specifically, I mean, obviously you're going to be paying, a boatload, but if you're trying to get one of those package deals, you can, through Disney's website, you can, if you're looking at staying in a hotel on Disney property where you've got the restaurants in the hotel, you've got the characters in the hotel as well. You can get those through Disney. For mine, we bought everything in pieces. So, stay off Disney property. Okay. So I would specifically look at, so from our experience when we were looking, Airbnbs were our best bet. Airbnbs gave us all the amenities. We had more space, and we had our own house. And Airbnbs, at least around Disney World specifically, were cheaper than the hotel rooms were. We went in December, and we've got 3 kids. And we got a 3-bedroom house, and 3-bedroom house in a gated community with a huge pool and clubhouse, and the home itself actually had its own swimming pool as well. And that was, I want to say like $100 a night, but there's stuff a lot cheaper. I mean, if it's just you and your girlfriend, you can get like a 1-bedroom apartment if you're cool with that. They have some of those on Airbnb for like $40-50 a night. For the rental car, we did our rental car through Kayak, and we had a Toyota Camry that we paid, I think, like $30 $32 or $33 a day for on kayak. And our flights, we always fly Southwest. Our flights were reasonably cheap. I think we spent no. So Southwest, because of the pandemic, Southwest wasn't offering a lot of the normal flights that they traditionally offer. So we had to change planes in St. Louis. So we flew from Sacramento to St. Louis, had like an hour layover, and then St. Louis to Orlando. And then the Orlando airport is about 25 minutes from... so the city we stayed in, the name of the city was Kissimmee. It was Kissimmee, Florida. And it's about 20 minutes from Disney World. That particular city is. And there's a ton of homes, a ton of townhomes, a ton of apartments. That's kind of like the big like touristy area where a lot of people have Airbnbs and VRBOs and whatnot in that area. And it was nice. I mean, like I said, we were in a gated community. It was totally worth it for what we got. And it was much better than trying to be crammed in a hotel. But yeah, I think with Southwest we spent, I want to say it was about $300 round trip. The plane tickets, no. So a lot of those sites like Kayak and Expedia and Orbitz and Priceline, they work with, you know, like United Airlines, American Airlines, Delta. They work with them. Southwest tickets you typically cannot find on those type of websites. But we've always liked Southwest. My wife and I, we've got a Southwest credit card, so, you know, we utilize our points. We've just always liked Southwest. Cheapo Air. Is that a website? Is that cheapoair.com? Oh, I guess it is. I've never heard of Cheapo Air. But for hotels and car rentals, that definitely might have to be something we look into in the future. Okay. Yeah, we might have to look into this in the future. But no, so the entirety of our trip, so there was 5 of us. We flew round trip from Sacramento to Disney and back, had 10 days in an Airbnb, 6 days at the park, rental car, food, gas, everything, souvenirs, everything. We spent about $6,500. Now, obviously, you can save a lot on that cost. If there's only 2 of you flying, you can get a much smaller rental car. You're not going to eat as much food. And the tickets are going to be drastically cheaper for only 2 of you. The reason we went in December is we wanted, or at least my wife, she really wanted the Christmas experience. She wanted to be able to see Disney during Christmas with all the decorations. So it looks like it's going to depend on, yeah, so out of the 4 parks that were open, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios, we did Magic Kingdom 2 of the days, we did Hollywood Studio 2 of the days, and then we did Animal Kingdom 1 day and Epcot 1 day. So how many days are you planning on going? Or how many days are you looking at going to one of the parks? Because the other thing right now, as it currently stands, Disney is not, they are not doing the park hoppers. So as a result of the pandemic, you can only go to one park a day. Regardless of what tickets you get, they are not allowing any park hoppers whatsoever. So out of that, if you're only going to the park for 2 days, I would say you're going to the two best parks for those 2 days. Hollywood Studios, you obviously have the vast majority of your thrill rides. You've got Tower of Terror. You've got the Star Wars, get your blue milk. Hollywood Studios is probably the best for the thrill rides, and then obviously just the experience and the sights and getting that classic Disney experience at Magic Kingdom. Epcot did have some cool rides. Animal Kingdom had a couple rides that were okay, nothing too crazy. But I would definitely say Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. It looks like Disney right now, they're charging about $100 per person per day. Let's see here. At least for Disney World. Yeah, so it looks like if you want to do 2 days, you're looking at $107 per day just for the park. The other thing, when you book your tickets, before you have to reserve your day in the park. So as soon as you book your tickets within your Disney World account, either go online or download the Disney app and sign into your account. You actually have to reserve your days at the park because they're only allowing so many people in the park per day. So make sure, and you can look online when you're looking at the calendar. So if I'm looking at your particular days here, 31st to April 4th. So those days are all pretty much available. Yes, you have to. They will not even let you in the park to park. They will not even let you through the gate to park to walk up and buy your tickets. You have to reserve your tickets ahead of time. And I would say the sooner the better, because we had to play around with our schedule a little bit. Yeah, if you have the ability to, I would look at purchasing those tickets a little sooner. Only reason I'm saying this is I'm looking at the calendar on Disney World's website right now. So all the parks are available while you're going to be there, except on April 3rd, Hollywood Studio is already booked out for the day. So if you plan on planning this, if you have the ability to purchase your tickets, I would purchase those tickets as soon as possible. Or else you may get stuck with parks that you do not want to necessarily go to. So like I said, April 3rd, which is a Saturday, Hollywood Studios is already booked for the day. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure my space out here. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so that was one thing we didn't get to do. We really wanted to also do Universal Studios, but that's going to have to be a separate trip. But yeah, I've got that, and then I've got some LED light strips that I'm going to kind of fashion in a manner to kind of, you know, set a nice kind of glow coming off of the poster. Yeah, see, I'm jealous. I really want to go to Universal. And yeah. Yeah, we had the ability. We could have stayed an extra period of time to be able to do Universal. But after 10 days, our kiddos were pretty shot. The last couple of days, they didn't even want to go to the park. It was like we were forcing them to go to Disney World the last couple of days we were there. So we just wouldn't have been able to make it that particular trip. But, I mean, if it's just you and your girlfriend, you know, or if it would have just been like me and my wife, we definitely would have done Universal, because that's one I definitely want to go to. And we've got Universal down in Southern California as well, but it's nowhere near as nice, and it's nowhere near as robust as what they have in Florida. So I definitely do want to check that out. Yeah, going back. No. So California is still the earliest that I've seen that they're even looking at allowing theme parks to open up in California is the beginning of March. But they have pretty much been shut down this entire pandemic. So, like Disney World and Six Flags and all that kind of stuff, they've pretty much been closed an entire year. Getting close to an entire year. And, yeah, it's pretty rough. Last summer, we did Great Wolf Lodge. And we ended up having to go to the one in Washington because the Great Wolf Lodge here in California down in Anaheim was closed. And they had built a new Great Wolf Lodge in like Manteca. And that one, they weren't even allowed to open. So like that particular Great Wolf Lodge in Manteca, it was built and ready to open like 6 months ago, and they still haven't been able to have their grand opening because everything's been closed. So it's just been sitting there brand new, waiting for the joyous governor, the great governor of California to reopen. I'll just say that. But yeah, it's been closed. Everything's been closed. Our sports have been closed. I mean, it's terrible. Terrible, terrible. But what part of the country are you guys from? Or what state do you live in? Or so I'll probably do this live stream for probably another 10, 15 minutes. We plan on taking our kiddos to the park today. getting some nice weather. And then probably knock out some orders tonight. Typically on the weekends is when you're going to get the best bang for your buck in terms of DoorDash and Uber Eats and Postmates and any of those delivery orders. In my area, typically brings a nice, they call it like peak pay. Because of how many orders they're getting, they increase the amount that they're willing to pay out to entice more people to sign into the app to do deliveries. Typically Friday and Saturday nights. In my area, we get anywhere from $3 to $5 on normal days for that peak pay. This past weekend on Valentine's Day, we got up to $7 of peak pay, which was pretty nice. Made for some good deliveries. Ox, are you still here? Doesn't look like it. Might have dropped out. Get my little heater turned on here. It's cold. Still crooked. That looks better. That looks a little bit better. All right, we'll go a few extra minutes here. If any of you guys have any other questions, anything you want to know, anything about the delivery jobs, anything about Disney World, since we just went in December. One of the really cool things is while we were at Disney World, we ran into a family that my kiddos love watching on YouTube. They're a YouTube family. Their family name is the Tannerites, or the Yowie family. They were super nice. My daughter took a picture with them, and it like absolutely made her trip. So yeah, that was icing on the cake, you know, being at Disney World, and then you get to run into your your favorite YouTube family that you watch. And they were super nice, super chill. I'm a little jealous of them, though, because they got to go to Universal, and I didn't. So I'm a little salty from that. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking out this video. Thank you for participating. I do plan on doing a live stream every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 1 p.m. Eastern time. I hope you guys will join me. I have not determined what my live stream next weekend is going to be. I will be releasing that though in the community page, and then I will also mention it in my next video. So with that, guys, as always, thank you for checking out my live stream. Thank you for the engagement. If you guys like this content, please hit the like button so this can get sent out and people can watch the playback. Subscribe to my channel. If you guys subscribe to my channel, if you wouldn't mind just dropping me a comment, letting me know that you subscribed. And then also turn on notifications if you want to see more of this kind of content. I think these app-based delivery jobs are here to stay. They make our lives a lot easier. They create jobs in the economy. And I think it's definitely something people should consider, especially if you're sick of the normal 9 to 5, that you live in, or rat race that you live in. So with that, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.